Not all those who wander are lost. Never act as an anchor to hold someone back. Never act as a sailor to help someone succeed. Act as a compass and guide someone to reach the destination through the right way. That's a thoughtful recitation by Parth Bishnoi. On the life's ocean, if the mind is a ship, let your heart be the compass. And see that you'll never be misled. Just try following this. So today's the education compass is pointing towards the various routes of the drug elimination. Let's follow this. Welcome all to Is Pharmacology Difficult podcast. I'm your host Dr. Radhika Vijay, MBBS MD Pharmacology, and this is the audio hub to get the best simplified basic tips, strategies, methods and lots of ideas to learn better, understand better and make your concepts crystal clear. If you really find and if there's a question hovering in your minds, is pharmacology difficult? Lend me your ears for a while and let in the magic of knowledge. Let me continue with the untold part further about the miscellaneous routes of drug elimination. Well, for today, the first one that we're gonna discuss is the fecal elimination. When oral drugs, they fail to get absorbed in the gut, drugs like neomycin, streptomycin, cholestyramine, etc., and few of the drugs and metabolites, they fail to get reabsorbed like corticosteroids, erythromycin, they all are excreted via the feces. Now what happens? Just understand the mechanism. Liver actively transports the bile organic acids, that is capital OATP and capital MRP2, they transport many glucuronides. Then capital OCT transports many bases. Then P-glycoprotein, it transports many lipophilic, and some unique mechanism is adopted to transport the steroids. Just keep a rule in your minds that a large molecular weight compounds that is having more than 300, they are eliminated by the bile preferentially. Heavy metals, anthracene purgatives, they are excreted directly in the colon. So that was all about the fecal elimination. What is the second head of talk for the day? It's the pulmonary elimination. That is the elimination via the air exhaled, a sort of you can call alveolar elimination. So what happens that volatile liquid drugs or gaseous drugs, they find their way out in the breath exhaled. It's not the question of the lipid solubility, minded. That's not the deciding factor here. Ideal drugs for this route, they are alcohol, ether, general anesthetics, nitrous oxide, etc. So what is important is that only the partial pressure of the drug in the blood, it governs the elimination of that drug via the alveoli. That is important and that is to be noted. Say a particle matter gains entry into the bloodstream, then lungs may trap it, they may expel it out. And yes, another thing I want to tell you at this particular moment that makes a lot of sense is that expectoration, that forms a route for expelling essential oils like the eucalyptus oil and the garlic oil. Pulmonary elimination becomes a significantly notable route as far as the medico-legal importance is concerned. Now I'll tell you a good example in this particular context. Vehicle drivers who are involved in the road traffic accidents, they are the apt subjects for breathalysis. Now what happens in their exhaled breath, the concentration of ethanol is measured and it is analyzed. Now lastly, a minor set of stanzas for minor routes like skin, hair, sweat and saliva. Though not very important, but just hear these in case you might need them. Ever to recollect, say a question suddenly prompts up in front of you. Well, that's still a hypothetical thought, but no harm in knowing more. right? Okay. Keratin precursor cells, they secrete drugs like cresofulvin. Hair follicles secrete drugs like mercury salts, iodides, arsenic. Saliva is a medium of secretion of phenytoin, lithium, iodine, potassium iodide. Now, sweat can secrete a few of the amines and urea derivatives. And also, rifampicin, heavy metals, they find a way in the secretions via these minor routes. Now, one thing I want to comment as far as the saliva secretions they are concerned. Please listen to this carefully. That's quite funny, but that's true. If you swallow the saliva with a good amount of drug secreted in it, you know what you're doing? You're actually self-administering one oral dose of that drug. Yes, that's equal to an oral dose of that drug. Right? I told you that's funny, but that's true. Next what? A little contemplation, a little jest, action. No, it's not about the another route. Routes are done for the day. I just want to say that young people need to know that there are ways to navigate life. Why? Because life should be lived by a compass and not by a clock. I hope you understand this importance. Okay, now one thing I told you, the jest part, the joke for the day is, listen to it carefully, that's truly hilarious. I poured a compass into my coffee to give the flavor some direction. Okay, if the flavor gets some direction, nothing like it. And if it doesn't, that's still gonna run for me. What about you? Try laughing uproariously at your own jest. Sometime, someday. For all the updates and latest episodes of my podcast, please visit www.ispharmacologydifficult.com, where you can also sign up for a free monthly e-newsletter of mine. It actually contains a lot of updates about medical sciences, drug information updates, and my podcast updates also. You can follow me on different social media handles like Twitter, Insta, Facebook, and LinkedIn. They all are with the same name. It's Pharmacology Difficult. If you are listening for the first time, do subscribe and follow whatever platform you are consuming this episode. Stay tuned. Do rate and review on iTunes, Apple Podcast. Stay safe, stay happy, stay enlightened. Thank you.